Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today I am going to be doing an underglow install on my 2019 Dodge Durango. So as you can see, I got pieces laid out already, and this is going to be a eight strip. I did pick it for an SUV. They got an option for a car, camper, trailer. I have two longer ones on the side, another one in the front, exactly like that. And this kit is from Op7. Obviously, like every video, link in the video description to this kit. Comes with everything. Comes with the 4 strips. They're connected, but they're a total of 8. 2 per side. Comes with your controller, zip ties, hardware, alcohol, your power supply, and your module. So what I laid it out now. Basically, the ends have to reach all the way to the front of the vehicle. So my biggest concern is the rear of the vehicle at the current moment, but I'll see. I won't find out until I start putting stuff up and seeing how it goes. So I'm gonna start with the rear. I'm gonna get under the vehicle, and I'm gonna see if either I screw it in, 2, I screw it in, zip tied it, 3, I use 3M, or I don't want to go this route, but if I don't see a way to mount it, I'm gonna put some JB weld on the back of the strip and glue it somewhere safe, because I'm not gonna screw into the metal of the vehicle just to put that on. So now I'm just gonna get under the vehicle. I'm gonna see what's the best option. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys side by side, so the front, left, right, and rear. How I'm gonna put them. I'm trying not to use no epoxy to glue them on or 3M. Trying to see what way I can figure out. And once again, this is on a 2019, so the body frame should be exactly the same on a 14. I believe up to a 20, and maybe even the newer ones. So this is the left side. This is what I did. So as you can see, it was almost like right by the pinch weld. It had holes in between, and I was able to get some zip ties through it. And so I basically zip tied it. Now I put 2 because there was like a total of 6 holes, so I put 2 on each, and like this thing's, it's pretty solid. It's like, see, it doesn't even move anywhere. It just shakes a little bit, but that's just held with zip ties. Now the only thing you need to worry about is the pinch welds. Not the pinch welds, but when you're lifting the vehicle up. I work on my vehicle, so that's not an issue. On here, on the Durangos, it tells you where to lift your vehicle. This one in the rear is not a problem because it has this block. But the one on the front, which says this right here, as you can see, it's kind of like you would be lifting it right here. So you would have to be careful with that, but I don't think it's going to be an issue, because if I feel like I need to lift my truck up just to take a wheel off, I'll pick it up from the frame over here or somewhere down here, just enough, even by the somewhere up there. where I don't have to put the pinch weld, because then you're gonna have this and the cable, and I don't want to damage this trying to lift it up from this pinch weld. So that's one thing. Now, that was just the left side. So now I'm gonna move on to the right side. The rear is a little more difficult than I thought. I'm not sure how we're looking in the front yet, but I'm gonna show you each side what I did, how I did it. So I'm gonna move to the right, I move to the front, and the rear that seemed the most difficult at the current moment, I'll do last. All right, so I just finished the front, which honestly, the front was probably the easiest part to do. Now remember, the cables are dangling from a certain spot, so I put my cables always dangling on that side. So on the passenger side, I put the cable facing that way, because we're gonna connect towards the front to our fuse. This one, which I haven't installed yet, I'm gonna spin that around, turn it that way. Obviously the driver's side that I showed you already, you see the cables dangling over there. It's gonna be facing that way. I still have to figure out how I'm gonna put it. And obviously for the front, the cable was dangling, and I put it this side because our fuse block is on this side. Let me show you how it looks under, which to be honest was the easiest part, because thankfully right under here there was like I think 6 exact points here that had 6 holes like that, and I was able to just go through it and zip tie it. And you can see it through there. When you're standing, you can't even see it at all. And it's solid, it doesn't move nowhere. So that's how it looks on the front. Next, I'll show you how it looks in the passenger, so you get an idea. All right, so now I'm in the passenger side. Like I said, once again, the cable's dangling that way towards the front. Let me get under the vehicle and try to show you the best. So as you can see it, so here's the vehicle right away under. I have it like that. And so I zip tied it right there. Zip tied it right there. Along this wire loom. And once you start getting more towards the middle, where's it at? There you go. You start having that. And then there's another one up there. And then the last one up there. And that's how it looks. And it's held on good. It doesn't move. Like I said, that's a lot of force I'm putting in it. It's not moving nowhere. There's nowhere else to really put it, because you can see where the pinch weld is, and I didn't want to JB weld it along here, and I didn't want to put it on this curve right here because it's stuck out, and like when you were standing you could see the whole bar. And once again, this is UnderGlow, so this would have been lighting more out here. It's gonna light more, so it works out perfect. So now the only problem is now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with the rear. Once I figure out how I'm gonna mount the rear, once I mount the rear, all I gotta do is route. Remember that cable, spinning it around, putting it this way. We're gonna route that way. We're gonna route towards the passenger side. And all these connections will end up being fed to the control box. So I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so I'll show you how the rear looks in a little bit, but I have power to it now, as you can see. Let me just turn it off. And this control reaches pretty far. I like it. So here's all the functions. We'll get to that a little later. So right now I just have the cables everywhere. what you're gonna need is, I'll leave linked these fuse taps, which is basically, I think the Durango was a mini fuse 2 was the model, but I'm gonna link this one. This is a 10 pack for like $8, and it has the fuses, and I'll show you how it looks. Looks exactly like this. You just put one of the fuses in here, you put your other one in, the one from the vehicle, which I'm going to show you which one we got. Okay, so let me turn off my headlamp, turn on the lamp. This is for my dash cam. This is the one we used. I tapped into, hold on, I had the fuse cover in my hands just a while ago. Here we go. I tapped into F58, which is F58. Now let me turn off this. Let me find it for you. Here we go. F58 HID headlamps. Now I used my voltmeter and I checked it, and it has current at all time. So if you're kind of going for where you could turn on the lamps without having the vehicle on, that type of stuff, then I would go that way. If you want it where you can only turn it on if you have it like an accessories or running, you'd have to look for another fuse. I wanted it where I could turn it on at any moment I wanted to, so that's why I selected that. And so basically I have my tap, I just wrapped it in tape. You have the connector, it's positive. Then let me show you how these look. I just cut it, crimped it on here, so you're positive. And F58 on my vehicle, like I said, was this one. 1, 2. So it's on the second one. So it's right here. It just taps in right there. Now for my ground, here's the ground. This, you could use a 13 mil wrench, loosen it, and you just loosen it far enough and you put it in there, tighten it back up. That was my ground. Now, this cable connected to that box, this unplugs right here. Now I'm gonna also, I got this tape, I'm gonna wrap up all these connections just to make sure, no, prevent it for water damage. I'm gonna pass that cable. Let me see if I could turn on my headlamp. Since it got dark, but straight down there where the radiator, like right straight down there, there's a nice opening. I just can't get the camera to focus. But from here, straight down, there's a good opening. I have a great opening, so that I'm gonna pass this cable straight down there. That's what I'm gonna do. And after that, I just gotta zip tie everything loose, somewhere secure where it's not gonna be moving, touching, and that'll be it. So I'm gonna pass that cable to like where I showed you, and then I'll show you where I passed it through. All right. So now I'm going to show you exactly how I did the rear. Now for the rear, this was the only way I could see myself mounting it. You'll have a bracket right here, 2 brackets for your bumper. And I basically zip tied it. I made an X. And you can see it's real tight. It doesn't really move. And then right by where the spare tire is, yeah, I went here. So I used one zip tie. I made another one, and then I tied the other one. I tightened it up, and then this just extends out like that. That was just the only way I could see it being done. All right, now for how I ran the cable, I ran it on top of here, ran it through here, and then I ran it away from the axle because you know the Durango's all-wheel drive. So I ran it through. Oh God, 1 second. Once I was able to actually pass it through, actually it's from the other side. I learned this the hard way. The two smaller ones, there's one section that the cord is way longer, and that goes in the rear. And in the front one, the cord is semi-long. And I messed up. I put the short one over there and the super long cord over here. So I had to take it off, take off the rear, take off the front, and swap them. That was a pain in the ass. So then I ran it across, you know, just avoiding anything. And then I zip tied it basically on the video where I showed you how I zip tied the light. Then it's crossing here. And then I have it going under this axle. And then I basically zip tied it along. Same for the front. And as you can see, I have the box right here. I'm trying to get a good angle, but all the cable leaves here. And I just zip tied it and tucked it away. Honestly, what takes longer is that. So here, I'm gonna see if I can find an app. I'm not sure if it was Bluetooth or not, but I have the remote. Turn off the lights. And I'm gonna hit red. Sorry, on. And this is how it looks. So you can see that's how it looks on the sides. That's how it looks on the rear. And then how it looks on the passenger. This thing looks sick. You have your basic colors here. Got green, blue. Blue looks nice too. White. Different shades. Okay. Then you have a strobe. And it just does that. It's just kind of orange. You have a fade. And it's changing colors by itself. And then you have cycle. Kind of like the fade one. And you can change the brightness. Here's the cycle. Now, I don't know how long this control will reach. Let's see. I'm gonna try to hit red. That's pretty far. I'll hit green. I have the control behind my back right now, and it's still reaching this far. I'll do blue. And then red. And I'll just hit off. That's how it looks. And even if you hit a color, you can see, the camera's picking it up. It doesn't turn on. You actually have to hit on first. Then it'll turn on. Honestly, it's a cool project. Probably the hardest part is, obviously I'll just hit off. Probably the hardest part of this project is putting the cables throughout this truck. As you can see, when I put it on the fuse box, it was pretty easy. I had no issues with that. Other than that, I think this is a project you could do. I think it took me longer because I wanted to make sure I ran the cables so it wouldn't get caught on something on the road or anything moving. Actually, a little bit. So I'll just do it right now. I'm gonna go in the truck and I'm gonna move it. Let's see if it picks up the remote while I'm in there. I got the remote in my hand. All right. All right. See if I hit on. I just hit on. Oh yeah, it did pick it up. Now I'm gonna hit off from in the vehicle. And it picks it up. Turn the truck on. Park it so that as you can see, I got the vehicle on. I turned it off. Lights are still on. Hit off. Turns right off. So I hope you like this project. It is time consuming. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I think it's a cool project. It makes the truck stand out even more. I think it was worth it. I think the kit was like $80. Worst case, it was $90. And the vehicle one, it cost much less. But the one for the SUV cost a little more. And like I said, I think it's worth that. Just be careful losing that remote. I'm not sure if it's just paired to that one. I am going to look for hopefully there's a Bluetooth or there's an app. I don't know. I'll look for it on my iPhone. And remember the box, it did have another wire. And that's if you wanted to wire it to the dome, to your dome light. So that when you open the vehicle and the dome lights are on, it basically, you know, they turn on. I didn't want to do that, so I just cut it off. Other than that, I hope you liked it. And if you did, anything you see on this truck right now, I bet you I'll have a video of it on my channel. Check it out. With that, I'll catch you guys on the next.